Hi class, Jeanette Guidry Marshall here, and this is a look into my professional portfolio. So here I have, of course, all about me, my teaching philosophy. This is stuff I've added to it throughout the years here at HCU. Now my main focus today is my Learning Technology and Design course, 5305. Instructional Design in a Digital Age. I love this picture. It shows the excitement of kids and technology. I think that's just the spitting image sometimes of what their faces look like when they're learning, especially when they get to use a Chromebook. So of all the authentic assessment pieces that I created throughout the course, I think the most meaningful one would have to be my Rock Cycle web quest. I had a lot of fun making it. I had a lot of fun looking for the images, looking for questions, answers to questions. In this lesson, finding out the objectives. And I think really this could work for about 4th through 6th grade. And I thought it was a lot of fun. The process and everything was fun. The links, making sure, links that I, used are still working, and basically coming up with the quizzes, the rubrics for the Rock Cycle. And my best part that I thought was amazing was the igneous cookie. I'm bad at following recipes sometimes, and I think it's actually really important to have students learn, that when you do follow the recipe and, you add this and add that and you add the right amounts, something is made and it's perfect. Unless you're like me and my family and we tend to go off the recipe. But it's okay, it still turns out good. But I liked this. This was a lot of fun. I even had a classmate say that she was going to have her granddaughter, I think, make it whenever she came over. So that was fun. Didn't need a lot of supplies. They could tell you how it looks, how it tastes, how it smells, how much of something you used, and then at the end, what challenges did you have making your igneous rock cookies? So I thought that was a lot of fun. So in our instructional design in a digital age, I also learned a lot from making our IXL survey. So my group chose IXL. I see a lot of teachers use IXL in class, and we did math 6th grade. And it was pretty easy. I thought it was going to be a little bit more labor intensive, but once you started thinking about questions to ask, it was just kind of like, it was a good flow. And I honestly can't wait to make more surveys, parent-teacher surveys, and quizzes. So I thought it was a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed it. And next would be my Pinterest page. I love Pinterest. If I could spend half the day on it, I probably would. It was hard to not get sidetracked and start pinning other things besides for my Rock Cycle unit. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I made a new Pinterest because my personal Pinterest is full of everything. I think my Rock Cycle unit would have gotten lost. But yeah, so I got to look up different images, websites, lesson plans. I even liked this one. I was going to choose between the two, and the cookie recipe or actually making a rock, which I think was more like using sand and some other materials. But it was a lot of fun. I liked it. And then the web quest, of course, I put it right here. This was our content creation, and it was going to be over the web quest, but I made the web quest its own little subcategory. And so I liked being able to lay out the objectives, the actual WebQuest documents where the students would read, click the links, go to the links, answer the questions. And I think this is pretty important because it keeps them not only busy and engaged, but it could be group work, it could be independent work, depending whether or not, you have a sub that day or not. I think it's good to have like a variety of activities. And so I think this did teach me a lot. It gave me a lot of knowledge and skills about being creative and using the internet and our, technology tools to our advantage. So I really do plan to use WebQuest and subject samplers and treasure hunts a lot more. So I did have a family emergency this semester, and I didn't get to do my rock cycle subject sampler like I wanted, but I did go back and go through a former subject sampler, and I added to it, I changed it up a little bit, and just kind of refreshed because some of the links were a few years old, some weren't working, some of the YouTube videos weren't, allowed, so I just went ahead and I really liked this subject sampler. It was in the very beginning of my time at HCU, so it was really nice to actually go in and clean it up, find different things to add to it. And it was about the women's suffrage movement, and just, how it helped us get the right to vote. So I even got to use a tease that I had made for, I think this was like my second year, so I actually went in and just revamped it a little bit, and this was when I paid for Animoto. Oh, that was expensive, but I really did love this one. So yeah, I think, the most significant word of advice that I could give, that I've gotten, is just make it fun. I think if you are engaged while you're creating your activities, students will be engaged as well. You don't want to have this monotonous tone when you're teaching students. And I think that's one of the biggest things sometimes that you hear from students about classes being boring, is that the teacher's just kind of like spouting information. They're not really engaging with the students. So I think that would be my most significant word of advice that I've received from colleagues and from students themselves. I think we tend to sometimes not take what they say as important, and it really is. What they have to say is important. Students have a lot to say, they have a lot of thoughts, and some of course are like, yeah, I'd rather be somewhere else than here, but if you try and make it engaging and try to be understanding, I think that really does go a long way in teaching them. And I think that's the biggest step towards student achievement, is actually student engagement. So thank you for looking at my portfolio, and I had an amazing time in this class, and I hope that I get to see y'all again in a different class. Thanks.